Hey, folks, welcome to Greatest Golfers. So glad to have you tonight. We are taking a break from golf. It is the golf off season, and so eager to have not a greatest golfer, but a greatest band. One of my favorite bands that I'm thrilled to listen to every time I can get a chance on Spotify or on YouTube, and they're on the road, but most importantly, they're coming back home to Youngstown. Red Wanting Blue, Mark, Dean, Eric, how the hell are you guys?
You're good. Thanks
good.
a lot for having us.
We're hanging in Boca Raton, so we're really good. It's better
warm.
than everybody else in Ohio, that's for sure.
Yeah, I bet the weather is pretty crappy down there right now.
Yeah, we had a little bit of rain, about 6 minutes of rain, so yeah, it's a bummer.
We can relate.
You're on the road, just a good 1 month shot around the East Coast. What's it been like getting back out?
It's been weird, traveling around on the road here recently. It's just, we're doing the mask thing, obviously, and us in general, it's like everybody's vaccinated and all that stuff, but it's like we're trying to obviously stay in our bubble, which is just only us together all the time.
So that's the parameters that you guys are under. If somebody gets sick, the show has to stop.
Yeah, luckily nobody has gotten sick yet, like literally since the beginning of the pandemic. But that was kind of like the idea is just, it just doesn't seem right to do it, but you know.
So despite all the goofiness of this new world of being on the road, what is still badass about getting on the road and getting on stage?
Just doing it. I mean, we've been on hiatus for about, I don't know, year and a half. I mean, actually being back on the road on a legitimate tour again, it's just it's really awesome. It's amazing how much we missed it. After doing it for so long, you think like, you know what, this would be a good break. You know, a year and a half, 2 years of just being off the road. But after like 6 months of it, we were ready to get back out there.
It's been cool to see Cavelli Center get going and Stambaugh and Vindy's were out before Christmas. But I think Youngstown is pretty cool when RWB is back in town. Talk about the Saturday show and what you're looking forward to.
I mean, yeah, Youngstown's my actual hometown now. So obviously that's like huge for me. I was telling everybody I have a record shop there at Westside Bowl, and it's like, I remember back in the day when I used to wash dishes at this place in Creston, Ohio, and I got to play a show like there with my band, and it was like, whoa, Dean can play the drums. So it kind of feels like that. Like everybody there kind of knows me as like, oh, Dean's the record store guy. Nobody really knows about the band. So I mean, a few do, but it's gonna be nice to come home and just like see a bunch of people I see every day, and obviously Nate over at Westside Bowl is one of my favorite people, and we're just excited to like bring a really good show to Westside Bowl. I mean, we've literally been trying to play this show for almost a year and a half.
Mark, Eric, what's Youngstown for you guys?
I mean, for me personally, it marks the beginning of my journey with the band. My first show with the band was actually at there's a place on Market Street. What was it called?
Plush.
It was before the venue before Plush. But it was on Varsity Club, yeah. And we played a show there, and you know, it was a really amazing evening. It was great and awful at the same time. After the third song, our drummer got sick and puked and ran off stage, and we had a drummer from the opening band come up and try and play some songs. Like, yeah, I know some Red Warning Blue songs, and he kind of did, but not really. So, so it's a little bit bittersweet, I guess. But no, but we ended up playing in Youngstown probably every month for about 3 years at the beginning of my time in the band, playing the Mill and O'Donnell's, and we're playing the Quaker Steak and Lube and
all the best places.
All the best places, yeah. So yeah, I have a really special place in my heart for Youngstown.
Eric, I think the last time you guys might have played was at that JD Eicher Fest I was working at, and you were rocking the Boom Boom Mancini satin jacket from the 70s.
Oh yeah, well that's something that Dean rustled up, and I think the size of the jacket, I was the only body that could fit in it, and it was an amazing jacket. So yeah, I seized the opportunity. You
might have to bring that back to the show.
I'll gladly wear it again. It's yeah, it was a great jacket, and I was happy to wear it.
Break over the pandemic. You guys sprinkled in some stuff. I'm staring at the hometown video. Mark, I don't know what landfill or mountain rock you were at top of some of your shit.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what that whole area is going to turn into. I think it might turn into some sort of link style course up near Delaware, Ohio. But we were just trying to find some places to shoot some video outside for our little homemade video of younger years. It's a song of ours, and we kind of came across that. I'm like, oh, we should go up there and just like walk around like I'm in some barren wasteland.
The other thing that you dropped was the Peppermint Studio videos, or the actual the 5 songs. Tell me about being at that legendary place and rocking the accordion with Dell.
Oh, somebody else can go, because I'll talk for 45 minutes about it. But somebody else get in there.
That was a lot of fun. And to be able to have Dell play the accordion on it was a super bonus, kind of tied it all together. It's one thing to be able to play in Peppermint, which is awesome, but then to have one of the main Peppermint men join you is, it's royal treatment right there.
2 musical questions. I'm a music listener, not a music player, so don't grill me too much and hate me for my questions here, but just 2 musical questions. And actually, it's perfect that it's the 3 of you. Dean, when you're doing your riffs at the end, I was watching the Philly show the other night. Mark, Eric, how do you guys time it up when you're like one last fill? I grew up on Neil Peart, by the way, so I'm used to the rat-a-tats and just when you think he's done, all of a sudden, so I'm watching you guys live, and I'm watching you 2 guys staring at Dean thinking, when's he done with this song? Because he keeps on finding one more. How do you guys work that as a trio to figure out when the hell he's done with his last pad or his last hit?
Yeah. Well, again, I'm a huge Rush fan myself. I grew up listening to Rush, and that's kind of got me into music. But I think a lot of it's been how long we've been playing together. You kind of know. I know his tricks. I know him all of his tricks. So I kind of know how he's going to end the song even before he does sometimes. But yeah, it's kind of you hope for the best in those moments.
So I guess so when you say hoping for the best, that's kind of one of the methods I was trying to learn of the madness. Is that shit scripted, Dean? And you guys, are you just banging, Dean, so you feel comfortable you've hit that spot and enough's enough?
Yeah, no, that's for specifically, there's like an extended outro and Hope on a Rope that initially, I don't think we ever talked about, but initially it started because we played Pittsburgh like a couple days after the shooting at the synagogue there, and 11 people died, and we hit 11 notes at the end. We didn't really even talk about it, but it's like that's what it was. That it kind of turned into the rage out moment of like the F off COVID situation, and some of the political things going on. It was like a lot of just kind of us like pushing back at what that, at least for me. And I think it became a moment of like everybody just like releasing. Even the crowd was just kind of like, what's even happening? And it's one of those like chaotic moments of like, it's not scripted. There's definitely things that seem to happen every night, but for the most part, it's just like trying to for me, I'm finding pure rage in that moment of like letting it out, because otherwise it's fake. It's like, it's not something that we want to do just to be like, well, that's the one where we do the big ending. It's like, there's like a big part of like emotion that's happening, at least, I think for us. So that's kind of the idea. And these guys just, we all just try to be, what's the word? Just like be in the moment. Yeah,
Ride the wave.
Sure, let yourself be exposed to like, oh, maybe I won't do what he's doing, and somebody's hanging out to dry. It's like, it's cool. It's like you're seeing something that's essentially improv every night, which is exciting for me for sure.
And the feedback backstage, and I thought you lost me there. I didn't think you were going to go with me, or.
Yeah. Well, the other night, where was that? Where Greg?
We played in Virginia, a place called the Tally Ho Theater, and we're having one of those moments, and Dean was doing all this stuff, and we are trying to do all these really syncopated hits, and we're really having a good night at it. Everyone was right on the same page, and then Dean hit a note, and then he stopped, and then Greg hit a note by himself, and it was, it's usually in those moments when somebody makes a mistake, the best thing you can do is like not acknowledge it, but Dean actually pointed his drumstick at him.
I gotta believe Scott has one of the best scream, sing, bellows. And in Peppermint Studios on Hitchhiker, at the end, he seemed to reach and go further than I've ever heard him go on a song. How's that go? If I was to compare it to golf, it's like just when you've seen Dustin Johnson hit it 360 yards, all of a sudden he can stroke one 380, and you're like, I didn't think he had 380 in him.
He caught that one pure, Todd. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
You know, some of them just feel you're like, oh, that was a good one. I don't know what I did different, but that one was like just right.
That's a good golfing term. Caught it sure.
Todd, I was back there dog legging. Is that a term?
Shank. You hit a shank.
Shank, yeah.
There
I was
you go.
shanking.
Yeah. Do you guys ever get a chance to golf locally?
Every once in a while, we'll play in Florida. Yeah, in December we go down there for a few days, and we usually play around down there.
Well, if the calendar lines up for a Youngstown Lake Club opportunity, love to have you out at Lake Club.
Yeah.
He's the real golfer over here.
Wow. Because I don't have a child now. Mark has a little boy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
all free time is out
in the
now,
summertime. I live in New Jersey, and where I live, there's only one public course in my county. I live right by New York City, so it's a different sort of golf situation. But it's a 9-hole course, but it's a really nice course. It's built on, I don't think it was an actual dump, but it was some sort of industrial site.
What did the pandemic teach you guys about life? What'd you, in that downtime and having to pause, what'd you guys pull musically, professionally, individually on the downtime?
For me, it was sort of a reorientation of priorities, and there was a lot of, I'd say there's a good handful of things that I used to probably get stressed out about and focus on quite a bit that actually made my life less happy. Slowly coming back into normal life, they don't really bother me anymore.
Learn to enjoy the simple things. It also made me just really appreciate what we have as a band too. It became really easy to become to take it for granted, and even become annoyed by it at times. But it really made me appreciate everything that we've been able to accomplish. And
so where does it position you guys as a band? What's the next year?
Yeah, I mean, we there was a decent amount of demo stuff that was passed around during the pandemic. We recorded a couple. We're going to be going in the studio and kind of just knocking out more tunes, at our own pace, doing what we want. And I think we're heading out west this summer, late summer. What you think you'd normally do, you're doing 60% of, because of any version of what's, somebody's uninterested in going out because of COVID. Somebody doesn't want to show their vaccine card, whatever. All these different things are keeping people from going to shows. So it's been really good. But at the same time, it's like, wow, this is, even if we'll sell 300 tickets, 150 people show up. So it's not a great time to be touring. So I think we've done a decent amount. We've gotten out there, but I think the biggest thing is we're going to start working on new music, and just to have it out as soon as possible.
What would you like to see it, like Christmas time, fall?
Who knows? I mean, it's like, even when you get something ready, it's just like, it's going to be 6 months before you can press vinyl and do it. We've also rushed in the past to put stuff out for no reason. It's like, along with a lot of other things, the band has just learned to we are in control of our own destiny. If anybody's trying to make us do something or tell us to do something, it's just,
we shouldn't do the things that we don't want to do.
What's the rule in the band about the beards? Is it like 2 guys are allowed to have full beards, 2 halfers, and then one guy's got to be scraggy? Because Eric, one time you had this great Civil War thing going about 4 years ago. So how do you guys, is there a rule for beards, or you just do what you want?
It's whatever. I mean, I think we have more of a hat rule, because sometimes I look around on stage and 4 of us are wearing the same stocking cap, and that's, but
there's no 5-some that rocks 5 beards, I think, as good as you guys. And
hey, thank you. ZZ Top only had 3, so we're going.
And back to the music though, which is why I'm glad for Saturday. Yeah, there's Rush, and yeah, there's these arena guys, but you guys just have such a great run going. And I think if there's that look at the sunset, the road's going to be bumpy, but there's a new day coming. You guys have got such a great track for that voice, and I just love spinning them, and I can't wait to see them Saturday night.
Awesome, man. Thanks, Todd. Yeah, excited.
All right, thanks, guys.
Got my West Side Bowl on right now.
Never forget the way the sun goes down in Ohio. Those were the days that got the ball rolling, but the ball had to roll. Someone, somewhere, will remember Heart sworn to never rest, thumbs